Hello there, beautiful human. Melinda Joy, Crossroads Storyteller here with a tips and tricks video. Every month on my channel, I share a collective tarot reading and 7 tapping videos to help support us in becoming our most true selves. So if you are into tapping and tarot, you will definitely want to press the subscription button. And today we're going to talk about pulling cards. I know when I first began reading tarot for myself, I had some anxiety about choosing the right card and whether or not I had chosen the right card. And I know I'm not the only one who experienced this or is experiencing this in their beginner's tarot journey. So today we're going to chat about some options and how you can't pull the wrong card. Okay, so the first way I learned how to pull from my deck was to spread the cards out in a fan. Now, not all decks do this quite as smoothly as other decks. So if you try this with your deck and it doesn't work out, just know that it might not be you, it might be the deck. So this deck is a little bit on the glossier side, and that makes it a little bit more slippery and easier to fan. And all of these suggestions are post shuffling. And as always, please take whatever resonates with you and leave the rest and add your 2 cents. So when one does a fan to choose their cards, you can pick any card that calls to you. I know when I first started doing this, I really enjoyed sort of sensing the cards. I'd close my eyes and feel what cards wanted to come out of the deck to be in my reading. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to make sure I got the right card. But I think as long as you're doing it without too much anxiety connected to it or too much worry about getting just the right card, then it can be really useful for sort of touching in and practicing your intuitive knowing. I do remember sometimes I'd like try to get this card and accidentally pull this card instead, and then I'd be like, oh my goodness, which one is the right one? Is it the one I originally went for or the one that actually started coming out? The answer is whichever card ends up being in your spread, that's the right one. That's the one that needed to be there. So yes, that's one option for pulling your cards. Another option is to pull your cards from the top of the deck. And when I do this, I really like to cut the deck first. And I'll give you the theory behind that. So I was taught that this deck of cards represents my complete, multifaceted, complex self. And this deck, after I've shuffled it, is representative of my current self, my present state. And so this top card would represent what is most obvious to me. However, I'm not doing a tarot reading to discover what is most obvious to me. I'm doing a tarot reading to discover what is underneath, what it is I don't see because it's deeper down. And so when I cut the deck, I get access to that deeper part of myself. That's the theory. Take it or leave it. And you can do 3 piles, you can do 2 piles, you can do however many cuts you want to do. And then after you've done that, you simply pull from the top. And when I do this style of pulling, I like to double check the bottom because I read with reversals. And so the way I decide which way is upright is from the bottom. So this deck, I would turn it so that now it's upright. And that's how I read the deck. So now I just do this. And this style of pulling is especially useful if you're doing a larger spread with more cards, or if you're having some kind of conversation like with your deck or with entity or ancestor or something like that. If you're using the deck to sort of translate, it works. I find it works really well to just pull off the top. And if it makes you feel better, you can just make a decision that you're always going to pull the cards like this or like this. Like some people get stressed out, like, oh my goodness, I don't remember how I started pulling the cards. Did I do it this way, or did I do it this way, or did I do it that way, or whatever? It doesn't matter which way you do it. But what I have found that is helpful for me is I just always do it the same way. And then I don't have to worry, like it becomes second nature and I'm not even thinking about how I'm pulling the cards. Another way to pull cards that I find enjoyable is, I find this especially useful if I'm using my cards, like if I'm just chilling with my cards and I'm already shuffling them or something like that, then I might do something like this, oops, and just pull that card. Or I might, so in this situation, the deck is not like finished shuffling. You just, you can continue doing whatever overhand shuffle you do, and you can either just randomly choose something from the center, or you can do, yeah, I've seen a reader who she sits with her cards every time she's going to pull a card, and I'm not sure what it is she's communicating or with whom, but she takes a moment with her eyes closed and then she does this action. So the only thing you need to decide is if you're using this card or this card when you do that. The way I like to do it is this one, but it doesn't matter. Just decide which way you're going about it, and that's the way you do it. Let's see. Oh yes, last but not least, jumpers. Okay, so there's a variety of ways you can view jumpers, but jumpers are the cards that as you're shuffling, just minding your business, just like pops out. You're like, whoa. So lots of people read these cards lots of different ways. My only suggestion is that you do something with it. Some people choose their cards specifically with jumpers. Like they won't pick a card out. They wait until they get a jumper. I personally don't have time for that, but I understand, especially if you have anxiety about pulling just the right card, how that would be comforting, because it's sort of like the deck chooses your card. But like I said, I don't have time for that. So whenever I do get a jumper, the way I like to read it is information about the moment in which it jumped out. So if I was feeling into what it was I was going to read about, then I reflect on what I was thinking in that reflection when this jumped out. Or if, let's see, when else do I get jumpers? If I'm just shuffling my cards because I'm just having a good time holding my cards and getting to know them, and a jumper jumps out, I'll reflect on whatever I was daydreaming about at that moment. And I also like to look at the bottom card when I'm done shuffling. So if this jumped out at the beginning of a shuffle session and I'm like mid shuffle, then I'll finish the shuffle, or I'll finish the overhand, and whatever card is on the bottom, I look at that card also. And I sort of see this card as the underlying layer of motivation, what's the river underneath, and this is whatever it is I needed to know about that moment. But like I said, you can choose to read the bottom or not read the bottom. I know some people like to take their jumpers and they'll include them in the tarot reading. Other people take note of the card and then put it back in the deck and continue with their process. So whatever works best for you. I'm sure there are additional ways to pull cards. If you have a way that you like to pull cards that I did not mention, I would absolutely love to hear about it. You can comment with whatever information you have about it, either a description of it or if there is any kind of recording in the world somewhere. I would love the visual content also. And if you enjoyed this video, you may enjoy some of my other tips and trick videos, including one on shuffling and several on how to get to know a new deck. But first, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to send me gratitude, book a tarot reading, or follow me on social media, you can do all of those things with the single link below. So many blessings.